Scammers, they're ubiquitous all around the world. And in every country, you'll find a scammer with his own set of techniques. And they've existed for centuries. Like, for instance, in the modern day, you can find scammers with clever techniques to fool a person. Like, for instance, really, man? Bro, the prize of this game is an expose. That hole is unbelievably tiny. Even a walking stick will have to suck in his stomach. And that's not the only scam that exists. There are other scams such as 1 and zeros, technology. Technology will be disguised as authentic, legitimate devices just so scammers can appropriate your information.
Watch as a man dressed as a construction worker places what police say is called a skimmer on top of a credit card terminal in a Fresno, California convenience store while his partner works to distract the store employee.
Yeah, so most likely these guys are not data collectors. Well, actually they are, but you know, they're probably gonna invest your money into burner phones and, you know, champagne getaways. Yeah, these guys are terrible people, man. And I'm pretty sure if they could, they would probably start a loyalty program for returning victims. And believe it or not, there's actually people out there who are, you know, missing some part of their brain. I don't know what part, but their anatomy is incorrect up there, because sometimes they'll start a scam or they'll attempt to scam, but then they end up falling for the scam themselves.
Fuck, man. They really told me to tap in. Next day I was supposed to clear and look at my account, yo.
I'm making this video because someone attempted to pull a quick one on me. That's right. They were attempting to lure me into a scam. They didn't get to do that. And this scammer gave me the impression that he's most likely an idiot. He's probably the only scammer that I know of that most likely has a return policy. Now, this is the scammer, Jessica Brown. That is not an e-girl, okay? Because I know there's gonna be some guys that are gonna immediately run over to Instagram and attempt to slide into her DMs. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but I text with emojis, okay? And I don't want you guys sitting there thinking like, oh, well, you're the ones simping for her. Look at you using emojis. F you, first off. And second, I text you guys with emojis, okay? Whether it's a DM or a comment on YouTube. And if you're new to my channel and you don't believe me, well, you can suck the fattest part of my penis. Look at you. Look, you're all like, hey, what part of it is fat? Nah. This is the account that requested to follow me. And as you can read from the very first message, it reads, hey, how are you doing today? I thought that this person just wanted to be homies. But obviously, I had a miscalculation of the entire message. He or she asked, are you into art? I wouldn't consider myself an artist, but I know how to sketch, I know how to draw, and it's something that I like to do during my pastime. Naturally, we continue on with the conversation. Then she tells me that she's been doing this for 3 years, and this is how she pays her bills and rent. She also offered to showcase her art, which when she offered to showcase her art, I wasn't gonna deny that. I love to see other people's art or sketches. And this is what she showcased. Does anything look odd to you? Weird? Perhaps two different styles clashing together? This one here is my favorite. Let's go ahead and analyze it. Really? A white top hat with a black tuxedo? This image looks like it was sponsored by Photoshop. When she told her friend, this is where I draw the line, she drew this. And why is Lucifer so freakishly tall? When you watch the show, there are clear references and depictions of how short Lucifer is. There's a character by the name of Alistair who is clearly leveling his finger, and you can clearly see just how short Lucifer is compared to his daughter Charlie. And if that wasn't bad enough, there's a family portrait in the show that demonstrates how incredibly short Lucifer is in juxtaposition to Lilith. But not here. This atrocious AI generated image clearly depicts and egregiously demonstrates just how tall Lucifer is. He's just so unbelievably tall. Bro, he needs clearance from air traffic control before he stands up. One time during his run, he accidentally bumped his head on a satellite. His baby pictures were taken with a drone. His ear pops when he stands up too fast. When he's doom scrolling and he stands up, his Wi-Fi disconnects. So when I saw these images for the first time, I started thinking to myself like, wait a minute, bro, like these are clearly AI generated images. Like you can't come to me and sell me on the idea that you're an artist, because I'm already getting the impression that you're not. And then this person goes on to ask me if I want a commission piece, which I clearly did not, because I was not interested in her art. Because when you take a look at those commission pieces, they look like they were spliced together using different art pieces from different sources. So in the nicest way possible, I said to her, well, you know, I think that you have the skills, but the problem is that I'm not looking for any commission pieces. And I didn't even expect this. She was persistent about that money issue. She stated, if you have an issue about money, I'm not rushing for money. You can also pay me on your payday. Sounds good? And when she was persistent about the money, I was slowly letting the mask slip because I was really close to just letting her have it. But I remind myself that I have to keep it professional because I don't want some hater to come into my DMs, act like he's super nice, and then like I blow up on this person, they screenshot it, and then they completely take me out of context. So I remind her that it's not about the money. I'm not even looking for commission work. And then this is where I was starting to lose whatever reasoning I had. I thought you messaged me because you wanted to make friends. Lol. I've been getting a lot of you guys lately. And it's true. I've already had 3 accounts, most likely scammers and spam, attempt to sell me on the idea of purchasing a commission from them because that's how they pay their rent. And I like how they pull on your heartstrings, which that is a rhetorical device called appeal to emotion. I like how they attempt to appeal to your emotions by attempting to draw sympathy from you so you can feel pity or bad for them. I know it's hard to believe that people will fall for this, and I know that some people probably think that these guys are absolute amateurs and unbelievably stupid to the point where if they accept cookies from a website, they'll go and get a glass of milk. But I promise you, there are people out there that will fall for this. And one thing that I've noticed about these scammers is that a lot of these scammers are potentially foreign. And the reason why I know that is because whenever they text, the appeal to emotion isn't there. A native speaker will be able to sell you on the idea that you should purchase a commission piece from them because they are going to go homeless and they will make you feel that. But in this instance, because I believe that there is a lexical gap and perhaps a limitation on semantic range, that's why they're not going to be able to convince a person like me to feel bad for their pathetic story. But you want to know something interesting? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if there's a lexical gap. It doesn't matter if they can speak to you in a native tongue. If the scammer ends up obtaining confidence by attempting to see weakness in you, they will con you out of your money. That's why it's called a con man, a confidence man. They rely heavily on confidence to swindle you out of your money. I know in cartoons and in movies and shows, they depict this con man having so much confidence from the very beginning, but that's not how it works. And I know that that's not how it works because I was supposed to be a con man. I was working for an MLM company, and they told us how to do it. Like for instance, and you can check this out for yourself if you don't believe me. They told us that whenever we're closing a deal with a prospect, to always ask whether it was Visa, MasterCard, or Discover card. And the reason for this is because a Visa starts with a 4, a MasterCard starts with a 5, and a Discover card starts with a 6. You have no idea how many times I've had prospects ask me, wait, how do you know that? And you know how I was supposed to respond? Not by answering that question. Do exactly what politicians do. Pivot and just emphasize your strength. I'm just really good at my job. That's how I know. Literally, that doesn't even answer the question, but it exudes confidence and it lets the person know that I know where I'm going, that I'm giving you a sense of direction. And that was a favorite go-to line, by the way, and that's called a hasty generalization. Let me go ahead and give you another hasty generalization. So whenever a prospect was indecisive about a particular service, what we would say, or at least what I would say, because I was trained to do this, I would always remind them, don't think about how much it costs. Think about how much it's going to cost you. That hasty generalization also works in tandem with fear mongering because I'm providing some sort of fear in this person, some form of FOMO, and the prospect is most likely to buy. Now, I do want to go ahead and mention that I was not a pro seller because I was not confident in myself. And here's another element to it. The reason why I most likely would still fail, even if I was confident, is because I empathize with people. I would not want to take their money. I think that that is absolutely terrible. But when you enter a field like an MLM, you have to go into it with the mindset of I'm going to lose everything and I'm okay. Because when I went into this MLM, I lost a lot. I lost money. I lost my collectibles. I lost a ton of friends. I lost a lot. And I can see how somebody entering this field can potentially become numb to people's feelings and be completely apathetic towards them. So if you ever see a con man and they go up to you, know that they don't start off with the confidence, but they begin to build that confidence based off of your weaknesses and your ignorance. And the way that looks is that they'll start off with a question, they'll show you a product. Oftentimes the product is bogus, and the question often revolves around the person's needs or something that they potentially want. So if their birthday or their mother's birthday is coming up, they'll suggest something along the lines of, you know, perhaps you can get her this cream. I've been kind of messing around with it. I don't know, man, check it out for yourself. They'll never say, check out this cream from this one company. It is exceptionally good. Like, they'll never start it off like that. And as soon as you give them that chance for them to speak, all of the trained one-liners, the trained psychology, they'll enact it on you. I know this because whenever somebody's incredibly prepared to debate their own points, they fall apart. And there's no way that they can debate it because most of these guys don't even care about their own products. So when you challenge them on their products, they don't know anything about it other than what they've already been told. But that is incredibly rare. You will rarely ever come across somebody who is an incredible debater alongside doing all the research from this company. If you ask me, the best thing I can say to you guys is just stay away. Anytime you hear the name MLM, just stay away from that company because there's no way you're gonna out negotiate them. So be very careful. When you see somebody that is completely confident and they're completely charismatic, that is a red flag you should be very careful of, okay? So yeah, I just kind of want to just go ahead and open you guys up to that scam because I know that this person was an absolute amateur, but I wouldn't be surprised if somebody fell for it. But I wanted to go ahead and expose you guys to that. So yeah, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end it there. That's really all I have for you guys, and I'll see you guys next video.